time.
Okay.
That's a good question.
All right, and look at this. Right here.
Well, if you don't stop
See how
drinking,
it says 30
I believe he's
OTR?
gonna
It'll
lose
turn off
his
after 30
mind.
minutes if I leave it that way. You have to hit the record button.
Well, every
Yeah, that
time
says
I
an
see
hour.
that man,
That says
he's
hour
in
30,
some whiskey
2
joint.
hours.
He's trying to make a bet,
Now it's at 3.
trying to get another half a pint. Well,
If I hit it
he's a
one more time,
whiskey-headed
that's good
man.
This one should have been to start
Yes, he
with.
stays drunk all the time.
Now,
It's still
we're gonna let it.
Well, if he
I'm gonna
don't
set it at
stop
3 and let it
drinking, I believe he gonna lose his mind.
go. All right.
You're listening to the Lowdown Travelers.
And so we are once again television in progress.
We are.
Yes.
We are on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is the first Tea Party in 2 weeks. Everybody had a week off.
That's right. We've been. Now I have to figure out how to. I'm gonna.
Well, good morning. Tell me where'd you stay last
Good
night?
Good morning. Where did you stay last night?
Say good morning.
Same place I always do
Tell
at
me
home.
where'd you stay last night?
Now that's quite a New Year's answer.
You guys are on. I'm pulling my mic down because I need to restring it. It's
It's the low down shade.
Well, it was an awfully cold one last night.
Yes, it was.
huh?
These come on strong.
Yeah.
Actually, the colder it is out, the more I have to heat my house to keep the pipes from freezing. So I wasn't all that cold. I get it colder inside sometimes when I know the pipes aren't going to freeze.
Hmm.
But I have to crank when it gets down. When it gets down into the teens or the single digits or whatever it was. I think it hit the single digits.
I noticed
then I have to
Joe out
crank the heat
there.
inside more.
I hear Joe out there laughing. I just realized Joe has a rather distinctive laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, how was everybody's Christmas and/or New Year?
Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Yule.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Or any other holiday in the immediate vicinity they wish to discuss.
My Christmas was terrible. My New Year's was a bit better. I just didn't think about it.
This is weird.
You know, actually, New Year's kind of sucked too because they're regular, like what day was it? Tuesday?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
No, I guess what was it? Boston Legal was on.
TV?
Yeah, they still had Boston Legal.
You watch TV?
Yeah, I watch TV. There isn't much else to
Hey,
do.
Joe.
William Shatner in an Emmy award-winning performance, if anybody ever saw that coming. But there we go. So, I see it's having its merits.
He's the other guy,
doing
my
a great
namesake
job
guy.
of acting like himself.
Yeah.
He's caricaturizing himself and doing. You know,
Right.
Well,
Oh,
that's...
they had Abstinence
on.
Only. That's right. They had the rerun of the Abstinence Only one.
Oh, well.
with Alan Shores. Who's the guy?
I saw
Spader.
you on the LMB
Yeah.
show, by the way.
Spader. Yeah.
Good show.
It was on.
Yeah.
I saw that
She was
too.
supposed to tell me it was coming on
I saw
and
it
give
on-
me a
it was yesterday it
DVD
was
and
on.
everything.
Oh, yeah? And you believe that, huh?
It's
That
awesome.
happens sometimes. We've
Right.
occasionally
So
had...
I was on L&B yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, James Spader calls the condom the greatest invention of all time.
Who called it?
James Spader on
Supposed to
Boston
be on
Legal.
next week too.
On what?
It's
Next week.
one of our programs
On
didn't
what?
encode
Boston
right, so
Legal.
I had
It's
to-
It's up. I would say it's up there.
Oh, okay.
The
Well, she said she
condom-
was going to give me a
James
DVD
Spader,
of
yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
That was the episode. So, yeah, my New Year's was a little better.
Alrighty.
I can see that. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not sure. You could debate endlessly what the greatest creation of all is, but certainly we could put it in the top 10 easy enough.
There we go.
I mean, I think we should consider things like written language and things like
Now I
that.
can
to
get
be
rid
a
of all of
creation
y'all,
mankind
and I
as
can
well.
just
So
have my
that's
own.
pretty handy.
Yeah.
And cookies. Whoever thought up the cookie, I think, was truly an inspired, brilliant individual
See,
as
now
well.
if we strangle
cookie.
you on camera, they won't know who did it.
Well, Spader called it the condom on, and he did it
Yeah,
on
well,
New
I
Year's
can
Eve.
see
But
it.
it was always a rerun. He did it not for the first time, for the second time on New Year's Eve.
I can see the condom. I can
Or on
definitely
New
see.
Year's.
I definitely think
Would
it
you
could
turn that
arguably
fan
be put
off?
in the
Or
top
just
10
unplug it to your right.
greatest teaming creations of all
Black
time.
Plug. There we go. How's that?
So.
And then plug in the white one and turn it on low.
Yeah, in terms of signs of civilization, it'll definitely make a good
Cold
list.
enough in here. We need the fan.
Feel the wall right
I
behind.
can feel the wall right here, but
Are
outside
you
of that
cold?
wall, it's cold.
Are you cold?
It's a little
Is
chilly.
it too
sitting
cold
right
for your
here.
hands? Are
You
you?
went in the
Not
doorway
yet.
like the other one was?
May I make the observation that you're the only person in here wearing a t-shirt?
Mm-hmm.
May I make the observation that I'm always in here wearing a t-shirt?
Would you care for? Would you care for one of our lab coats?
No, I'm fine.
We have lab coats.
I
Just
can
I
strip
didn't
off a
think
couple
the
of
fan
layers.
was appropriate. Is all.
I think you may need a
Well,
lab
here's
coat.
this. 1, 2,
You may need to shed some of this and get a lab coat. They're hanging behind the door in there.
6 layers here.
6 layers. That's very well
But
equipped.
you can't get out, can you? I'll get it.
I'm only working with 3 layers
Here,
right here, and
you
I'm
can
counting
see the
a
audio.
vest as a layer.
Well, I'm not counting my layers of fat, so you know.
Okay.
Right on. Right on. There we go.
Again, one
See
of
how
those
good I sound?
arguments of semantics that if you wanted to bring it into play and use it in an argument, I'd see how you could, but, you know.
But my 6 layers are why it is that I only have to heat the house to keep the pipes from freezing. Except when I shower.
Hmm.
To heat it up and wear a shower.
I see the
How
point to
large
that,
are
yes.
you? Take off your coat and stuff and see if this will fit on you or not. Okay, does everybody know Adam? Adam,
Hi,
you-
Adam.
I wouldn't know him
Hello.
from Adam.
Oh, let's see.
I did that one.
You did that.
No,
one.
it's a guy named Adam.
See if that'll fit you.
And I didn't know him from Adam.
Yeah.
No, his mother didn't know me from Adam. He says, I don't know him from Adam, but I cracked
We're
up
bubbling.
because I said
Let's do an old faithful.
Boom.
Okay.
Still working at Green Life?
No.
No,
You sound very enthusiastic about
Yes, I quit the other day.
he now
Okay.
works at the. No, it doesn't fit you or no.
It's a little.
Oh, I guess firewood sales are probably doing good this year, aren't they? You know if the firewood business is up?
Well, it's been weird because we've had some really nice weather too.
Yeah.
And they say over the weekend it's supposed to go back into the 50s.
Yeah,
so.
but heating oil's way, way, way up.
Yeah.
So is gasoline. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
So I guess I see the point in the firewood.
Yeah. Petroleum's over $100 a barrel now.
But see, my farm's got firewood. All I have to do is take the time to cut it up.
Well, that works. So where are you working now?
But I don't have a wood stove, so I just have to sell it. So if it's worth enough,
I've got a few
Right out there and cut up
interviews
the
this
firewood.
week. And I'm going to be helping John out on a more regular basis for the tea party and other things.
Nice. Very nice.
Plus, I'm starting back to school in a couple of weeks, AB Tech.
But on Christmas, I wrote my letter to the editor on Christmas, and I was kind of crummy. I kind of said, Brownie Newman, you ruined my Christmas.
Why did Ronnie Newman specifically ruin your Christmas?
He opposed Lester Incorporation. It's complicated. And that affected my ability to sell my farm.
Hmm.
There we go.
And that's going to come back up in a week or two.
Okay.
I want to see if he does it again.
Well, I'm sort of curious. How, in what way
we've
was
received
he
a
standing
gift.
in the way of
Here.
you selling your farm?
Figure that out.
Okay.
It's green.
In Leicester, the majority is pretty much anti-zoning. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to regulate land use. And I don't want to sell my farm in one piece. I want to sell it in lots of little pieces. And the county limits has a bunch of regulations that limit how many pieces I can cut my farm into. And if Leicester incorporates, they can remove some of those regulations. And they probably will because Leicester is anti-zoning. Leicester's an anti-zoning kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
So if Leicester incorporates, they can remove some regulations that make it easier for me to sell my farm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Especially affordably. I could sell it to one rich guy, but I couldn't sell it to 50 working class people.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Because they won't let me cut it up.
Oh. Awesome.
Are we having fun?
And
Okay,
well,
yes.
I'm
Tell
trying
us
to
about.
be-
See what you can determine about that.
It is
discuss it.
pyramid of cardboard in Russian It looks like Russian with scenes from Egypt on it.
Okay,
And it appears to be a T because
it
I
is
see
T.
pretty much there's only a few words I recognize on it that are in English, and one of them is T, and this is the Tea Party. So I'm making a leap of logic here,
You are.
and I'm just
Is it a
attempting to
logical
be.
leap?
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Okay. Show the teapot that's blooming to the camera to your right.
The Bloomin' Teapot.
Blooming tea.
It is, isn't it?
Isn't it magical?
Yes.
And kind of fantastic. And I especially love the way they actually made little flowers out of tea here. And it's jasmine and green tea. And it's very, very good stuff. Very fragrant, and you don't need to add any cream or sugar for it to be tasty.
That although it seems to tout itself as something to do with being Egyptian there, it's written in Russian, so
Yes.
are we to assume that that's Russian tea?
I have no idea. There are so few words in English, there's no way of telling. I mean, it's obviously something packed in Russia, it says. But I mean, who knows where it came from? I don't think of Russia as a place that tea comes from, so maybe it's tea grown in Egypt and packed in Russia and then opened and discussed about here in America by us. What a truly grand and magical world it is we live in.
Now take the microphone on the end of that.
That's the containerized cargo.
and give it to Moss.
I'm a big fan of container ships.
A whole stand and all.
Like globalization.
Thank you.
Too bad about globalization being so
There we
good for
go.
container ships, because I just love container ships.
Well, yeah, there is something really
They're just
cool
cool,
about the
yeah.
idea when you think about it. I mean, it's,
Hi, Mike.
almost the size of a small city. Just
You sit it over there on the corner of the
All these
table.
truck trailer
I
things.
think that's going to be your. Make sure he has wire and everything.
yeah,
That's gonna be-
globalization
that's gonna
aside,
be
when
his,
you think about the logistics of it from a geek perspective, it is actually kind of cool.
And actually, they're pretty efficient too. They're more efficient than trains.
Oh,
You do
ships.
something on that scale, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. Especially if they slow down. All they have to do is slow down, and then they're wicked efficient.
Oh, ships
Yeah,
Well, it's
going
called
slow or
Carmody
very
Pyramid.
efficient.
yeah. The slower they go, the more efficient they are.
Well, that's generally the case with all forms of
yeah, they're
transportation.
little-
And it costs 75 rubles.
Not as much like trains and cars.
I wonder what that translates into
Not,
in terms of
not
dollars.
trains as much, because ships are dealing with water.
Translate
The
to
water's a lot
75
thicker,
rubles.
and it has the
Right.
same effect, but on a much heavier scale.
Ruble is up.
It's a lot to push out of the way.
Yeah, but they're so big they can be wicked efficient.
just the
One of the
dollars down.
fastest growing economies in the world.
Hi there.
But only
Will you
if it
come
goes
in and
slow.
have some tea with us?
Anyhow, it's
Tea
Carcady.
time yet? I'm filming.
Marketing.
Okay.
Oh, you're
I have to
filming.
take a teacup and run.
Okie
And they don't always go slow.
And what are we doing with the
But-
pyramid
but
of
they
tea?
can
There we
go
go.
slow. All they do
Well,
is slow
it's a
down.
conversation piece. This.
I need to change
They're inventing
glasses.
kite sails too. They can go back to sails. That's
Well,
one thing about
we're-
they keep saying
we're
global
still-
trade
we're
wastes all
still
this fuel, right?
Brewing.
But global trade
We're not
predates
quite there yet. We're close.
engines,
This
motorized
is
power.
true. This is true, but certainly on the scale that it's being done now.
And then go back. Well,
I mean,
no, they
it's
can-
it's one thing. It's one thing for the British to
Yeah.
sail halfway around the world just for their caffeine and sugar. Because I mean, it almost seems to play out like that. Basically, the British conquered about a quarter of the world, mostly for caffeine and sugar.
Yep.
Well, that's a pretty powerful combination.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think you really want to bring out the tiger in the Americans.
Right.
And as the Japanese referred to us as the paper tiger before World War II started, lo and behold, the tiger was not paper. Try taking away Americans' sugar and caffeine, and then see how vicious we get.
My whole political philosophy is based on the assumption that Americans love their cars more than we love our children. That Americans will give up children before they give up cars.
Obviously a case-by-case basis, depending on the individual. But, on a grand scheme of things, if somebody had to choose between having a kid and having a car, I would rather have a car than a kid, personally.
Yeah, see, I'm not being facetious. I really think that Americans would rather have cars than kids.
I'd rather have a car than a kid.
And I think it will come down to that choice, and I think Americans will choose their cars.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's not like if I had a kid, I would trade in my kid for a car. Obviously, that's morally repulsive on
So
several
you think
levels.
perhaps that Americans are now, in a wholesale manner, trading in their children for their cars for their gas to drive their cars. Right now, they're trading children directly for their children's futures for their present ability to burn gas in their car.
That's right. A lot of people, especially locally, are saying that contraception-based environmentalism isn't politically realistic, but restricting automobiles, but automotive-based environmentalism is politically realistic, and I disagree with that on a political realism basis. I think that contraception-based environmentalism is more politically realistic because Americans will prioritize their car.
When you find one, Moss, that you're interested in,
I have no clue. My brain is not working right now.
when you find one, I was going to ask you to sit your microphone over on the stack on the other side. Get it closer to you. And when you not on that, on the actually on the paper part.
Yes.
And but like I say, not until you find one.
Well,
Yes, by all means, whatever.
And whenever you find one, just burst into song. That'll be great. Are you a little hoarse today?
nay.
You thought that was funny, didn't you?
Someone had to. A little froggy, it sounds like.
But anyway, I wrote an angry and somewhat sad letter to the editor on Christmas, and it's in the current paper.
Oh, is it?
But I wrote it on Christmas.
Was it Mountain Express?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in today.
I'll have to check that out.
It's right back here.
I've got 2 Mountain Expresses that I need to sit down and work my way through.
I didn't know if
Find the high
Mountain
points.
Express was going to be, I think there are changes going on at the Mountain Express. Has anybody seen Cecil Bothwell's newspaper?
We saw
Yeah,
issue
I
number
saw it.
2, but either issue number 3 isn't out yet, or the store that we usually get it from was closed when they delivered.
Yeah, do you know if it's weekly? Or do you
I don't
how
know.
often
I'm
it's
trying to
coming
find out about it. I've not seen the first copy. No one's seen copy number 1 or whatever.
Did not see issue number 1. I did read on the net that issue number 1 was, the print version was very much delayed. But if you get onto Blog Asheville, they had Cecil's first article for issue number 1.
The old Billy Graham basher himself there.
I didn't see him bashing Billy Graham.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, some people did.
I was only
Well-
saying that in fun. I didn't mean that.
I've observed time and again that Christians will go endlessly on about how persecuted they are, and then go after people, gang up on people who don't agree with them. I mean, it's blazingly
Well, see,
hypocritical.
they're just jealous that they aren't the ones doing the persecuting.
That said, I have also made the observation that there are people who go after Christianity just simply for the sake of going after Christianity, when it is really kind of a juvenile waste of time to approach things like that. However, I have not read what Cecil Bothwell had to say about Billy Graham, but I've heard about it, and I know some of the stuff Cecil Bothwell did. So, point by point, going through an examination. I'm kind of curious now. I simply really want to read this.
I have a lot of
About it.
respect for Cecil Bothwell's knowledge. He's a very knowledgeable man. Would you pass me that flowering teapot? I think it's time to have
The
yourself
teapot isn't
some.
flowering, John.
He's child-free. He doesn't make it his main issue, but he is.
It's hot. Okay, can you handle that? Okay. Thank you. All right. What were you saying?
Cecil Bothwell is child-free as well.
It's
He
child free.
doesn't make it his main issues, but he's chosen not to have children partly for environmental purposes.
Oh, this. I see. And you say this. Does someone else want some tea?
Yes,
Let me suggest some tea here. There's not much in that one, and I took a lot.
It's your
So-
tea, John.
It is indeed. But I think I have more tea coming shortly here. Oh, do not sit the teapot on the microphone, please.
Wasn't on it.
Huh?
Wasn't quite on it.
Oh, yeah.
He was not quite putting it on the
I
microphone.
can't, I'm deaf now.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't on the mic.
Hey, I'm deaf
It
too,
was on
man.
the mic.
This close.
No, it was on the mic. Yeah, I definitely know the sound of the teapot hitting the microphone, and when I have the headphones on turned up to this volume. Really, trust me. Okay, now put your microphone over on your stack. Yeah, there you go.
Stack my microphone.
That's great. That's great.
Come fill up your glasses and set yourselves down. I'll tell you a story of somebody's town. It isn't too near and it's not far away, and it's not a place where I'd want to stay. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. The winter came in with a cold icy blast. It killed off the flowers and killed off the grass. The rabbits were starving because of the freeze, and they started eating the bark off the trees. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. The farmers said this sort of thing just won't do. Our trees will be dead when the rabbits get through. We'll have to poison the rabbits, it's clear, or we'll have no crops to harvest next year. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. So they bought the poison and spread it around, and soon dead rabbits began to be found. Dogs ate the rabbits and the farmers just said, we'll poison them rabbits till the last dog is dead. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits have nothing to eat. Up in the sky there were meat-eating fowls. The rabbits poisoned the hawks and the owls. Thousands of field mice the hawks used to chase were multiplying all over the place. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. The fields and the meadows were barren and brown. The mice got hungry and moved into town. The city folks took the farmer's advice, and all of them started to poison the mice. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. There were dead mice in all the apartments and flats. The cats ate the mice, and the mice killed the cats. The smell was awful, and I'm glad to say I wasn't the man how to haul them away. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. All through the country and all through the town, there wasn't a dog or a cat to be found. The fleas asked each other, now where can we stay? They've been on the people from then till this day. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat. All you small creatures that live in this land, stay clear of the man with the poisonous hand. A few bales of hay might serve to keep you alive, but it'll pay more to kill you than to let you survive. The people are scratching all over the street because the rabbits had nothing to eat.
All right. Guess what? It is time for the 420 roll. That's right. It's time for the 420 roll. And here it comes now.
Rolling.
still swimming. We take one whole fish and fillet it, so you get the two fillets, the top and the bottom.
Right, and they were still swimming.
Yesterday morning, these fish were still swimming.
Yesterday morning, they were still swimming.
They got caught up in the clutches of capitalism.
I see, and see what it's done to them.
See what their life is.
Sure, I'm actually just someone stopping by to see what's fresh today. But I love the tailgate market.
messed up time.
If you want to let
for
them,
Americans,
if you want to
this is
take
very
their
bad.
lead, if you want to listen to them, you just will have to suffer the consequences of obeying them.
Do you want to be on my TV show?
Lord.
You want to be in a porn show?
That's a little too tight. Now do it.
Hey, Asheville.
Okay.
Look good.
You say about the 60s now?
You know, share and share alike, be free. Well, it didn't work out so well. So we needed a new paradigm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we've returned to the original.
Which is get it while you can?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Well, show us a nice fish. It looks like a nice fish right there.
Here's a spot. Spots are very nice. That's a whole fish.
There's a nice spot.
They fry up really nice.
They fry up.
I've been listening to a lot of Chrome lately, and I've noticed some things in trying to. I feel I can emulate their style without it sounding at all like them. Like some of the
round, white knuckled, nails cut palms, dig at eyes, peeling flesh, theirs and mine, vibrating at a damaging frequency between lethal explosions, sweat pouring, blood dripping, never dries. A toxic system to spread unseen in blinded masses to rot in pits. Viral glass to be collected from rancid corpses, ground then soaked in reducing chemicals. Extract the living specimens, incinerate detritus, exterminate superfluous populace. Do we use names in these things?
If you want to. You can say, I am Nate and I hate.
I am Nate and I hate. My name is Nathan Lowe, and I would like to say that I'm against art and poetry.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. 'Cause none of them are gonna stop at the times. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand beside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill our book. And I want to help to sing one more song of freedom. 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, these songs of freedom, redemption songs. So sing it with me, children, in every day now, in every way now, in every day, y'all, in every way now. Whoa, redemption song.
Yeah, it would be interesting to find out.
Yeah, you're watching the 420 roll here. What do you think of the fabulous 420 roll? Huh? See, you see that, Randini?
Right there, Randy.
Yeah, Randini, how you like your new theme music here? Isn't that a hoot? Yeah. Have you got one for us coming up here?
I got one for you
All right.
coming up here.
Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Adam, and we're gonna run off and see about making some English muffins while you do a song. When this is over, which it just about is. We're
Making them or toasting them?
Oh,
Slight difference.
all right, da yeah.
We're back.
Almost.
Well, almost.
Yeah. There we go.
There we
now
are.
we're back.
Hey.
All right. We're back with Moss and the here. Grab that clock right there. It's wrapped in the thing. And we'll go. I have to figure out how to set some alarm clocks. We should set that one for 6:30.
6:30 or 6:20?
Yeah, 6:20.
Okay.
Whatever. 20, 30, 40.
We're gonna have to get another extension cord to make that
Yeah,
happen.
should I repeat it? Can I repeat it for the audience?
Repeat what?
That North Carolina has a law that says a city or town can't fund human services. And that it's supposed to be the county or the state or the feds that fund human services. And the state doesn't want cities to do that.
Is AHOPE a human service?
AHOPE is a nonprofit.
Ah.
And see, the cities and towns can get around it by funding nonprofits, which then provide human services.
Did anybody hear this thing
But
go off?
they're not supposed to do it directly.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But of course, my thing is that if they can fund other nonprofits, they can fund Planned Parenthood. They can fund contraceptive nonprofits, which I don't think they
Condoms
do.
are good.
condoms are good. Well, we'll just have to get an extension cord and we'll try to. Well, let's see. Well, let's do this one. No, let's do that one.
This one?
Yes, bring that around.
Can I have the decaf tea then? A flowery
I don't
tea?
know that that's necessarily decaf.
Oh.
Less calf.
Less
It might be. Okay.
Only half the cow?
All right, now let's see which. Oh yes, here. Do you know? Switch to camera 2. Do you know how to switch to camera 2? Do you?
No.
No. Pull it out.
I stayed
push.
up late before.
Oh.
I don't have a spoon.
There.
Okay.
See, and that'll show
That's
Moss better.
one
If
and
Moss
two.
slides slightly to his right, he'll be more
Slide to my
more in the
right.
camera.
There's 2 spoons there. Grab a spoon from the end.
That is a spoon for them. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's see what time it is.
It is about that time.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Hour. Yeah.
How's that Mountain Express?
I was just doing a quick review of various things. I read the review for Aliens vs. Predator, the latest one, which got only 1 star, which doesn't really surprise me. And as a
I
science,
didn't hear much of anything about it at all.
exactly. And as a science fiction fan, that really disappoints me. I mean, what do they do with this? They put it in a small town, modern America,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, something like the Aliens doesn't belong in small town, modern America. I mean,
Put it in Los Angeles, you know?
well, it doesn't even belong in like the here and now. I mean, the original thing back in '79, they go way out there, deep far into space, and encounter something new that they've never encountered before, and that's how you first come across this space monster, which has gone on to become very iconic. But what do
Which
they do?
one? Alien
The
or
Alien.
Predator? Okay.
70, Predator was 87, Alien was
Oh, yeah.
79, I want to say. Which, I mean, if you've got something that potentially iconic, you don't set it in modern small town America. I mean, that's where you put, like, you know, some really other bad, like a mutant movie or some serial killer thing or something like
Let's see in the
that.
headphones and see if
Well, I mean,
we
the
can
last Alien versus Predator, it was like some tomb that they uncovered, you know, some
Yeah.
ancient lost
Which,
city.
which
Okay.
was also really disappointing, putting something like that on
Oh, but
modern
then again,
Earth.
it wasn't in the future because it was supposed,
Yeah, it
it's supposed
wasn't-
to be after the original Discovery, which is
But
which
it
is
can't-
set. The one in '79 is set in like.
It wasn't
like
after the
2050 or
original.
something,
It
yeah.
wasn't the after the original Discovery. They never
Right.
said when the original movie was supposed to take place. It was the whole. They were in fact like frozen in Antarctica all along, kind of thing.
Right.
And you know, may or may not get out. I mean, the fact that somebody at the head of a studio that's the best they can do upon getting control over an iconic movie character like that. I mean, the amount of
And feminist, too.
imagination is very disappointing. And what?
Feminist too.
Well, I don't think of them as very feminist.
So
The aliens.
we're
Yeah, well,
we're
I mean, you know,
doing
they're
a,
attaching themselves to people's faces and bursting out of the stomachs. I don't see why that's necessarily.
Well,
considered
because the
feminist.
heroine, because Sigourney
Well, you've
Weaver's
got a
the-
point
the
there.
lead.
yeah.
the-
This is
the
basically
lead
Ripley's
alien
Believe It
fighter
or
is a
Not.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was groundbreaking about it.
Well, you know, and that was great. And personally, I think if you're going to make a movie like that, you may as well have the lead be an attractive woman as opposed to a big steroid-laden guy. Because I mean,
Well,
either way,
yeah,
you're
but
into.
you take her hair off, and you know there are a lot of men that would argue whether she is still attractive.
Yeah, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, in any action movie, personally, I would rather see, since it's unrealistic anyway, I would rather see a female lead because, I mean, realistically, I mean, just in terms of sheer upper body strength, you know, women can't beat the crap out of guys the way you see them doing it in action movies, but that's okay because
Right.
it's not real.
But
I'm
they're
all
fighting,
for-
but no human can fight the alien with strength
Exactly.
anyway. So it's all a technological fight.
Yeah.
And
I'm all for
she's gonna
female
turn into-
leads, but you gotta have a guy on rhythm. Yeah, the
Well,
drummer
she
can
does.
be female too, but
She does, but the
shit,
captain, the original captain, although until he dies, is a male, and he's reasonably smart, and he's reasonably out to get the alien, and he does a
Never
reasonable
known a
job.
band that had a
until
captain.
the
I would
alien
Captain
dies.
Tennille, but that's a different thing.
So you know, some of the guys, there are.
No, you're right.
Not all the men are buffoons
Mhm.
in that series.
Well, yeah, you're right in that it showed several things we hadn't seen before: strong female lead in a science fiction movie, or just the fact that it took the space monster to another level in terms of impressiveness, And it was the start in terms of taking science fiction away from like a clean, shiny sort of thing, in terms of like having a gritty, used-looking science fiction future.
Still, it says something that our local reviewer, who is a nationally known figure in horror, would give this movie 1 star.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised because, I mean, as soon as I saw the preview for it, my response was, "You've got to be kidding me." I mean, you've got iconic space monsters, and the best you can do is drop them in small-town America.
Dallas is the captain. The first one, right?
Hmm?
The first one is Captain Dallas.
Captain Dallas in the first one, yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they should duke it out in some futuristic, far-flung space colony or something like that.
Did he shoot
not
JR?
Colorado.
No.
He shot at the alien, but he was facing the wrong way.
Yeah, they need
it.
Kind of hard to hit something if you're not aiming at it.
Yeah, especially if you're in a tube.
Mm-hmm.
He's like in this tube and he's shooting
What
this
is
way.
it,
and the alien
Schrodinger's
gets off,
cat?
I guess.
Yeah.
I've always had trouble with Schrodinger's cat. You know why? Because it always assumes that there's just the point of view of the people outside the box. The cat is, I mean, it's not intelligent the way we think of intelligence, but I mean, it has its own perspective. You'd think the cat's opinion as to whether or not it's alive would count for something, and he seems to somehow think that it doesn't.
There's the old tagline, cat. I sure hope that Schrodinger guy put some litter in here.
Yeah, I think but somehow I'm not terribly surprised. It somehow seems very pre-Nazi to think of something, think up a potentially brilliant scientific concept, but have it involve killing a creature and completely refusing to acknowledge that said creature you're killing also has a point of view. There's just something very pre-Nazi about that.
Wait, what?
Schrodinger's cat. You've heard of this?
No, I never heard of it. Okay.
Okay.
Something I've never heard.
He's a quantum physicist. They came up with, I don't even remember what decade he came up with it, but it was, I would want to say like sometime in the 20s or 30s, maybe even before that, he came up with this